I'm James Brown with Amptweaker, and this is our new Bass Junior series. So there you have it, the new Bass Junior pedals from Amptweaker. Here's the 3 pedals. I'm going to go through them and show you some of the features and a little bit of a comparison at the same time. So anyway, all these pedals are based off of our guitar models, and as I did with the Bass TightDrive, the original one, we re-EQ'd the tight and the tone controls, shifted them down an octave, and on these we added this dry low knob that's here on the side. So just to show you what that sounds like, here's the dry bass. Here's this with just the dry. So that's just the part coming from this dry lock knob. Then you bring in the here's without the dry low. So you can see so with that, the dry low knob really comes in handy. You bring that back up. Okay, I've got the gain set. I like it right about there, calling that the middle of the range. You notice there's a lot more volume left here. That's in case you're driving like a, like a tube head or something, and really want to beat it up more. Or you can have it like I have here, where there's more gain and less volume. Okay. All 3 pedals have a built-in noise gate, which is nice because you can have a lot of gain. Hear the hum. Here's with no noise gate. Here's with it cranked. And the noise gate doesn't affect the dry sound, just the dirt. So I've got it kind of set for an appropriate level for this amount of gain. Anyway, there's switches on each side here. This switch is called the tight switch, and what it does is it adjusts the attack of the distortion. That's kind of the middle sound. Here's a tighter. Here's the fat. And you can feel that's beating up the low end a little more. Here's the tight again. So, if you're trying to sound like a guitar playing with a bass, you might go for a tighter sound. So when you play chords, you get a chunk to it, where here's the fat. You hear how that's a little muddier on the attacks. And I'm not even playing with a pick. Here's the same difference with a pick. I'll leave it on fat. Here's tight. Versus so you can see how that's a pretty powerful tool there. Now the EQ switch over here gives you 3 different EQ ranges, and I don't expect you to like all 3 of any of these things, but the beauty is that you can find something that works with your rig or your amp, or if you're doing a fly-in gig or something, you got some flexibility to deal with different amp situations. So here's the middle of the range. So it's just like I had it. Here's the smoother. versus that's got a little bit more highs. And then the plexi sound is a little scoopier, which is kind of nice because it, you know, a lot of times when you overdrive stuff, you end up with sort of a honkiness to the mid sometimes, and that you can use that to take some of that out. And if it's too bright, then you can always tweak this. Okay, so I'll go back and play a little bit of the middle sound here. Okay, now we'll go to TightRock. Right away you see it has a lot more gain capability, and of course a little bit more noise. I can dial some of that out. Here's the tighter sound. Here's the fatter sound. Here it is without the fat, the dry low. Not a bad sound, but it certainly benefits from having that extra drive. Okay, now I'll show you the three different EQ settings. This is regular. Here's the smooth. Here's the plexi. See, that's just a little bit more stacked sound. Smooth. Okay, and obviously there's, you know, here's more gain if you just want to hear that. You know, sometimes you might want that much. To me, this is kind of like a nice amount of distortion if you're playing with some other guys and you want to bring sort of a rhythm guitar tone during a solo or something, you know. And just so you know, I'm playing through, this is a Schecter. I'll write the name of the model on it. It's the one that DeLeo used. But anyway, I'm using both pickups just to keep it simple. I'm not an awesome bass player, so I don't know all the finesse of that, but you can get the idea of what the pedal can do. All right, back to kind of, here's the middle sound again, and then I'll go to the tight metal. Here's the tight metal. Same kind of situation. Here's with the noise gate off. You can crank it way up for a real tight. A lot of guys will like that, especially with a pick if you're trying to, you know, really get the stops in the band. You gotta actually be able to play the bass though to make that sound good. Anyway, so here's back to kind of a moderate noise gate and in the middle setting for the EQ and tight. Okay, that sucked. Here's the tight. Here's the fat setting. Now here's that setting without the dry low. That's kind of like what you'd get if you were using a TightMetal Pro and had the tone turned down and the tight set real low. Here it is with the dry low. Okay, now here's the 3 EQ settings. I've got it set in the middle. Here's the smooth. And that kind of brings in some mids too, so you can get sort of like the TightRocks sound a little bit. It's a little meaner sounding though to me. Here's the middle again. And then here's the thrash.